Hi guys, me again. It's snowing outside actually, so I go down to the garage, find things to do, and luckily I have my Game Boy. It's what I like to play with. And yeah, you know, I'm a gadget guy. I like to try all of the different stuff, and as a YouTuber, I have an extra chance to do that by adding stuff to my bike. But the topic today is the battery, because all these things consume energy, and while riding, I have no problem with that. But when stationary, I have a few things like the SIS app GPS tracker. I had that on for a year and a half now. And that's constantly online. And now I added also to play with the DMD2 from Thork Racing, the OBD reader. Yes, I said OBD. I always say ODB. Maybe it's my OCD. But yeah, my OBD reader, where I can get some bike stats onto the display and temperature, RPMs, and even diagnostics and stuff like that. So that's always connected. And these things consume energy from the battery. So now when I don't go out riding as much, I'm blessed with this place where it's warm, and I also have power, so I can have the bike in a battery charger. But I'm still a bit curious, how much does these things consume from the battery just by staying idle? So let's find that out. So the battery, I have swapped the original battery to the Shido lithium battery, mainly for weight savings. You save 2 kilos by doing that, so that's nice. Beside the main sort of power cables here, I have on the terminals here, I have the just battery pigtail, just for an external connection for battery charger and compressor and things like that. Heated gear perhaps, never used that yet, but anyhow. This one is the SIS app. The SIS app GPS tracker, and not connected to the battery directly, but indirectly, the tri-mode dashboard OBD scanner. The thing with lithium batteries also is that you do not want to drain them completely, because then they're dead. And the chargers will not charge them. They will only start charging if there's some current in them already. There's a way to trick that, but anyhow, when the bike comes from the bike store, it's only sort of not the gadgets and stuff that I've added, but just keeping the battery connected to the bike, the computer, the little clock and whatever, it still consumes a little bit of energy. So if you just take this battery out, it will last for, the lithium batteries will last for about, I thought I saw from Shido, 20 months or something like that. But adding now there's always a little drainage, and adding these gadgets to the battery, leaving it over winter will not be possible, I guess. So I will have to keep it here. But I'm still interested in how much does it drain and how long can I sort of keep it with all these things connected without the charger in it, just leaving it for a week with this stuff in. Can I do that? So the plan is now to disconnect all the gadgets, have it only standard, and measure how much current is used by the bike when it's idle. And then also connect gadget for gadget and see how that affects the drainage of the battery. And I will use my multimeter to do that. But the trick here is to know that the bike has a sleeping mode, like most electronic vehicles today. You have the computer, and yeah, to keep it alive a little bit. But then it goes into sort of a sleep mode after an hour or so, to consume less. And the same thing goes for the gadgets. The Sys app that I'm using, it has a deep sleep mode. So when you ride it, it's powered fully, of course, and then when you stop, it's sort of in a wake mode, and after a while, an hour, it goes out into deep sleep just to consume as little as possible, just enough to stay alive. Same thing goes for the OBD reader. It also shuts off after a while. So yeah, I will sort of cut this in between the consumption here and measure it and see what happens. Okay, let's start by disconnecting, and the OBD reader is quite easy. I just plug it out and now it's not consuming anything. And I'm going to leave the positive terminal connected here and just disconnect this. So let's take this out. There, and bike is disconnected. Everything is disconnected. It's dead. Oh, now I got from Sys app disconnected from battery, so it alerts me about that. So that's good. Okay, everything is disconnected. I have the negative terminal on the battery and the negative cable to the bike. So I want to connect those, but I want to squeeze my multimeter in there. So I'm going to measure amps. So I switch to the highest I have, 10 amps, because and we have to be a bit careful not to use a lot of power from the battery by using the start motor or anything, because that will output a lot of power through the multimeter. We can burn it and then set it to 10 amps here. And just by connecting these two now, I will lead the power through the multimeter for the whole bike. But to make that easier, I have two loops, just loops like this. So I connect this, and that's now extended to this one. And this one is, let's go, is now extended to this one. So now everything is off on the bike, just connect it and see where we are. Let's see if we turn on the bike, see what happens. All right, we're using 3.3 amps on the bike now. Turn it off again. And we have 5 milliamps being used by the bike now, the computer, and yeah. So we have 4 or 5 milliamps taken by the bike right now. So now let's add the Sys app cable here. So let's squeeze that in over here. See if we can get some connection there. This is not perfect, but okay, now we can see it's fluctuating a bit. And now my Sys app should go online. We're up to about 12 milliamps. Yeah, so let's add the ODB reader and see what happens. Now it gets power. It's disconnected, and yeah, that went up. But now this has quite effective sleep mode. So now it's in sort of full power. But if we leave it here now, it will go into sleep because the bike is not on and the tablet is not using it. So it will soon go into sleep, and let's wait for that. Okay, so we are down to about 14-15 milliamps. It took about just under 20 minutes for this to go to sleep. And yeah, if I now remove it, yeah, so about 2-3 milliamps in, that's even less than the bike itself when it's disconnected. Okay, so the bike takes about 5 milliamps. The CSAP takes 7, and the OBD takes about 3, a little less I guess, but that's 15 milliamps. So how long does that last? Okay, for the calculations, let's use our friend ChatGPT. How many days would my battery last? It has 4 amps and I load it with 5 milliamps. Calculations, and yeah, 800 hours, and that's just the bike, so 33 days approximately. I believe that it should be longer, I guess, but yeah, not sure. Let's use this. There are so many other parameters here with temperature and the health of the battery and everything. And if I load it with 15 milliamps, which is the full Monty with CSAP and OBD. So that's about 11 days. So just leaving the bike as it is, no extra gadgets, little more than a month would be okay without draining the battery totally. I'm not sure how correct that is, but yeah, let's take that as a reference. And yeah, if I load it with the CSAP and the OBD, that's 3 times more load. So that's it takes you can only have it uncharged a third of the time. So yeah, it's if I were in a cold garage, no electricity as I did before, I would take the battery out and take it in with me. No real need, I'd say, to keep it charged or anything. I did that with the first years with this bike, and it started perfectly. Now I have the luxury of a warm garage with electricity. I will do a test, I think, just to leave it out, not completely empty the battery, but through the CSAP app I can actually see every day the voltage of the battery. So yeah, I can be careful there, and it warns me if the battery goes too low. So yeah, just interesting, I think, adding all these things. So, but I say if I ride at least once a week during season, there would be no problem with having all these things on. But over winter now it's 1 degree plus. Oh, it's plus, I can go ride. Yeah, I don't ride as often. I keep the charger in to keep it, yeah, on trickle charge or whatever. There's some lithium charger magic going on there. Yeah. No other conclusions. See you in the next video.